Her relationship with her mother-in-law, Lady Larissa, hadn't been good from the very beginning, from the very first day. As they say, it was as if a black cat had crossed their path. Every conversation escalated into an argument. Zoya realized that Motvi had married her, despite his mother's wishes. Though no one explicitly said so, it was clearly written in her eyes. Motvi was his mother's only son. Lady Larissa adored him, doted on him, and likely imagined her daughter-in-law to be of royal blood. But Zoya was a simple girl, with a cashier mother and an electrician father. A mismatch, Larissa thought, even though Motvi was just an ordinary guy. Because of this, the young couple moved out to live separately. To some godforsaken place where they found a cheaper apartment, just to minimize contact with the constantly complaining and discontented Lady Larissa. They had a big argument, and the mother was hurt, but what could be done? With the arrival of Zoya in her son's life, everything went awry, thought the mother. And the son, imagine that, started to show character, just like his father. With sadness and a bit of pride, Lady Larissa thought, wiping away the tears. Motvi's father passed away early, his health failed, and he had a responsible and stressful job, but he was greatly respected. He was a good boss, like a father to the whole team. Lady Larissa felt like she was behind a stone wall with him. But she was left alone, wondering how to deal with her stubborn son. He brought home a girl, plain and simple. "I love her, Mom, I'm going to marry her," he said. No arguments swayed him. Lady Larissa cried, fainted a little for effect, as her husband used to say, but nothing affected Motvi. He got married. And so, she had to tolerate this girl. They had nowhere to live, so Lady Larissa made their life difficult. They eventually ran away. It's okay, she thought, I didn't raise a fool. He'll come to his senses, return to his mom, and then find an equal match. Not this simpleton. But he didn't come back. Time passed. Lady Larissa learned she was going to be a grandmother. Her son still called her, maintaining contact. But she kept her distance, pursing her lips, frowning, and only then answering the phone. She spoke reservedly with her son and said goodbye politely, to let him know she was still hurt, still unforgiving. Then she found out that the annoying Zoya was about to give birth. She was completely upset. Oh, what a fool, Motvi. Now he can't get rid of her easily, she lamented again, pouring herself coffee into a tiny cup decorated with gold. Her husband had given her this coffee set for her birthday. Expensive, beautiful. He knew Larissa loved coffee, so he gave her a nice gift. But the doctor had recently told her to cut back on coffee. She had just gone to the doctor. Her health was acting up, she was ordered tests and examinations. All because of the nerves. Her son upset her, she had no words for him. Lady Larissa started crying again. Then, wiping away the bitter tears, she got up from the table, put the cup in the sink, and started getting ready for her clinic appointment. It was time to see the doctor again, we'll be monitoring you. I'm putting you on record, the doctor said strictly and started writing something in Lady Larissa's file. And stop drinking coffee. And avoid stress too. Walk, get some fresh air, take your medication. If it doesn't help, come back in 3 months, we'll do another scan and see. All the best. Lady Larissa left the office and, with trembling hands, began to get dressed. She got tangled in her scarf, buttoned the wrong button, dropped her hat, just like that. They told my husband the same thing. And how did it end? Tears blurred her vision. She hadn't even had a chance to live yet. Her son had just gotten married. Her grandson was born, and she hadn't even visited, she had refused. She'd only seen the baby in a photo that her son had sent. Oh, that Zoya. Lady Larissa slowly walked home. Sad thoughts swarmed in her head. The situation was indeed serious. The doctor wasn't joking. She realized it too late. "Oh, forgive me, I didn't see you, I knocked you over." Lady Larissa apologized, thinking to herself, "What an old woman, it's her own fault." The elderly lady she had accidentally bumped into fell on the icy sidewalk. "Please get up slowly," she fussed around her. "It's slippery, there's ice. You should stay at home. What if you break something?" She couldn't help herself. The elderly lady struggled to her feet and began brushing the snow off her old coat. Lady Larissa shifted awkwardly from foot to foot, looking at the lady and suddenly thinking that she must be around 90 years old. Yet she was doing well, walking on her own without a cane. As for herself, she doubted she would live to such an age. "I'm just out for some bread, dear." "I love fresh bread," the old lady explained. "Why are you crying?" Lady Larissa really was crying out loud now. The doctor's words kept echoing in her mind. Even though it wasn't a death sentence yet, she didn't believe in a good outcome. They sat down on the nearest bench, and Larissa told her everything, pouring out her heart. About the doctor, the diagnosis, her son, and her daughter-in-law. "Don't cry and don't despair. Nothing is certain yet," the old lady said knowingly. "Listen to me. Long ago, I had a similar experience." Meanwhile, Moppy's voice interrupted, Moppy. "Is there anything we can do to change her mind about visiting us?" Zoya looked pleadingly at her husband. "Don't worry, it's a day off tomorrow. I'll be here. She won't eat you up, really. She'll visit and leave." Her husband smiled and hugged Zoya. Baby Anton was teething, and he hadn't slept all night. Zoya hadn't prepared any treats. Moppy's mother was supposed to arrive in half an hour, and the house was a mess. Moppy quickly ran to the store and brought back a cake and some fruit. Then he sat at the table, peeled an orange, and fell asleep holding it, leaning against the kitchen wall. Zoya looked at her husband with a smile. He had helped her all night. They had taken turns holding Anton to calm him and let him sleep. Zoya's own eyes were closing. She didn't want to sit at any table. She wanted to sleep while Anton was asleep. The sharp ring of the doorbell broke the silence. Zoya went to open the door. "Oh, thank you, Lady Larissa. No, nothing. Everything's fine. Please come to the kitchen." "Moppy?" "He's rocking Anton." "Of course, you can see him. Just quietly." Zoya was stunned. When she opened the door, she saw a completely different mother-in-law. She was very different from the authoritative, capricious woman she remembered. Zoya hadn't spoken to her in 2 years, and the changes were striking. Moppy's mother gave her a beautiful scarf, hugged her, and even shed a tear. Zoya definitely saw the tears, but her mother-in-law wiped them away secretly. She had lost a lot of weight and looked broken. It was clear she was trying to hold on and smile. She immediately asked to be called Mom. Then she asked for permission to see her grandson. Zoya went to the kitchen to put the kettle on, and Lady Larissa spent quite a lot of time with Moppy and Anton. Zoya even managed to quickly whip up something for the table. Then she grew worried and decided to peek into the room. From behind the slightly open door, she could hear a quiet conversation. That was when Zoya learned that her mother-in-law was seriously ill and might not have long to live. She was crying, and Zoya felt sorry for her. Lady Larissa was talking to her son, looking at the sleeping baby Anton, crying, and regretting how she had reacted to the birth of her grandson. She had thought a lot and realized that some things can't be changed. But you can try to change your attitude towards them. She said as much. And so, she tried. In her last months, she wanted to see her grandson, her son, and her daughter-in-law, and to be with them. Zoya herself was already standing and crying in the hallway, thinking about how much time we waste on foolish things. We should be happy, but instead, we argue. And then we make up, but it's often too late. Maybe she should have taken a step towards her mother-in-law? Who knows? Lady Larissa helped Zoya a lot during the 3 weeks she stayed with them. She didn't impose, but simply helped, pitching in when she saw that Zoya was exhausted. She cooked when she could, cleaned the kitchen, and often played with the baby while Zoya took care of other things. Anton had 4 teeth coming in at once, so there was no peace day or night. But luckily, after some time, it was all over, and the baby became calmer. They talked a lot with Lady Larissa. She turned out not to be so terrible. Moppy's mother told her about the old lady she had accidentally knocked over. The old lady had advised her to repent and ask forgiveness from all she had wronged. Not for any benefit, but just because. From the heart. And maybe things would change. Lady Larissa confessed that at first, she couldn't imagine doing that. How could she ask for forgiveness? From Zoya? For what? They were the ones who hurt her. But then she thought, what does it matter now who hurt whom? She might not have much time left to live. She thought about it and gradually felt that she had to. She had to make an effort. She had to. It was up to her. And so she came. Zoya hugged her mother-in-law and felt that she was crying. She felt terribly sorry for her. Lady Larissa seemed so fragile, as if she might shatter if hugged too tightly. "Mom, don't cry, please," Zoya quietly persuaded, swallowing her tears. Mom, for her own mother had recently passed away, a tragedy that had happened not long ago. Lady Larissa didn't know about it, they hadn't been in touch. The wound was still fresh. Zoya closed her eyes and sat quietly, hugging her mother-in-law. Each was lost in their own thoughts. "You are my little angel. Sunshine. Come to Grandma. Look, Zoya, he's taking his first steps. Careful, darling, you'll fall." Smiling, Lady Larissa caught her grandson by the tummy. "I'm so happy, Mom, that everything is fine and you're getting better. Let's call Motvy and tell him the good news." Lady Larissa, upon leaving the doctor's office today, was the first to call her daughter-in-law to tell her that her health had significantly improved. Zoya immediately rushed to them with Anton and brought a whole bag of treats. Yes, improvement. The doctor said it happens sometimes. Though she still needed monitoring, there was positive progress. "Zoya, I'm so happy. Oh God, what I have been through. Do we all need to go through something like this, to understand simple things?" The mother-in-law hugged Zoya, smiling and crying at the same time. "What are these tears about?" Moppy walked into the room. He had just come home from work. "Everything is fine, son. Thank you so much. Perhaps little angel Anton helped me recover." "Yes, my good boy." Motvy looked questioningly at Zoya, and she, smiling, nodded, supporting their son's hands as he tried again and again to take his first steps with his little feet. Everything was indeed fine for them. For them. For them.